Hey friends, I'm in Sedona, Arizona. Had a wonderful evening last night. I rolled into town and Kyle invited me to a dinner with his team, which was super fun to attend. Met a bunch of very, very sweet, excellent, amazing people. And today the event kicks off. I'm talking to you before the event because I never know what the evening's going to look like. Otherwise, I would be able to recap it for you. Maybe I'll have to do 2 posts today. We'll see. But I was on the drive yesterday. I was listening to a book by Rick Rubin. I may have mentioned it in the last couple of posts. Rick is a music producer, produced a ton of super successful people, has had an amazing career, and wrote this book about, it's kind of a spiritual practice book, but it is about it. I would say it's spiritual practice in the creative realm, very, very much in line with kind of my enthusiasm and a lot of the work I do with people. And it really speaks to me also, just as far as like my own creative practice. It's given me a bunch of nice kind of succinct bits of advice, bits of perspective that I think are they're super informative, and so I can only highly recommend. It's called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. But one thing really jumped out at me, and it also sort of it feels related to this weekend, this event with Kyle, because the theme of the event is freeing all children inside and out. So Kyle does a lot of work with freeing the inner child, helping people connect to the inner child, the part of us that might feel broken, might feel traumatized, might feel unheard, right? Like the part of us that somehow holds us back from feeling fully engaged and invested and liberated in life. And as a sort of to connect this to the external world, all the money is going to a charity to prevent child trafficking. So it's a really great, it feels like a really great thing to be part of. But the book yesterday, Rick was talking about the Japanese practice of Kintsugi, and Kintsugi is this thing that is sometimes done when a vase will break. Instead of just putting it back together and trying to make the breaks, make the cracks invisible, it's a practice of actually putting gold dust in the glue and filling the cracks with this beautiful gold color, so that when the vase is put back together, not only is it stronger than before, because the glue is oftentimes stronger than the material, but it also, the crack becomes a focal point of the beauty of the vase. The brokenness of it is highlighted and not hidden. It's actually deliberately exposed and made into an object of beauty. It's made into the kind of almost like a battle scar, or it speaks to the vase's history. It tells the story of an event. If you want to kind of go down the rabbit hole of how we can see a flaw or a break, a pain point, as something that we, rather than covering it up or hiding it, we actually draw attention to it And it doesn't mean we don't repair it. We do repair it, but we don't try to pretend like it never happened. And I just think that is such a wonderful image. It's such a wonderful metaphor for healing, for overall, for pan-systemic healing. This notion that, it speaks directly to the idea of like the Carl Jung concept of the wounded healer, that our wounds, our own pain points, our own struggles become our strength. They become areas of knowledge and wisdom and experience that we can offer to other people. And, this is just a good reminder for me too. Even as I talk about it now, I'm going, okay, well, where in my life do I need to hear this? Where in my life could I afford to take this notion, this concept, and apply it to an area where maybe I am sort of trying to run away from a certain kind of pain or a certain kind of, a lot of times our insecurities or our fears will be the barriers around these pain points, because we know that if we go past that barrier, we're going to be into an area that maybe hasn't been fully healed, or that there's something precarious about going there in our psyche. And the truth is, generally, there's obviously an argument to be made for doing this in a very measured way, and for doing this with ideally some kind of skilled guide who can really help and who knows how to navigate landscape like this. But just on our own, there's really an argument to be made that the repression is the greatest thing we're suffering from. It's the hiding from the pain that's causing us the most pain. And so I just love this idea of like filling all of our cracks with gold, filling all of our pain points with a kind of ornate, beautifying substance that actually says, look over here, see this, see me. I'm, exposing it, wearing it like jewelry. There's a real, just that notion already feels like it has healing power. And then if we actually sort of got specific and looked at particular areas of our life where, that might apply. I can think of areas of my own musical experience where it doesn't matter how old I get, doesn't matter how much I practice, doesn't matter how much affirmation I get. There's always there's a kind of a barrier around what feels like a certain kind of exposure. And I've had the experience over and over and over and over of either pushing through that and having a great experience, or not pushing through it, but actually just sitting with it and letting it resolve. And all of a sudden I realize, oh, this thing is actually what's trying to be expressed through the music. The thing that I think is the barrier, that I perceive as the barrier to my expression, is actually the content of my expression. Not the full content, but the that deeper, vulnerable part of me is actually what's trying to be seen and expressed. Whereas it feels like it's the thing that I need to hide in order to satisfy the standards of the genre, be a good enough musician, be a good enough person, right? Those are the things that they feel like they're the problem we need to eliminate in order to get what we want, be who we want to be, etc. But actually, it's kind of the exact opposite. We can go right for it. We can think of those things as cracks that we can fill with gold and say, look over here, look at this human experience, look at this life. Look, I'm not high, it's such a tremendous offering. And of course, we've all had the experience of witnessing someone else do that, witnessing someone else share their deep, deep pain, and it heals us. How does that work? Right? It's incredible. So that it felt like a very apt message to come through en route to this event, and sort of as I was preparing to be here and dive into this work with this group. So that's what I got today, folks. I may have a report for you later. We'll see. But certainly tomorrow, there will be more to tell. Have a great day. Appreciate you. Much love. See you soon.